right, so while the liberal mainstream Obama mania media is busy attacking GOP presidential candidates like Texas Governor Rick Perry for his debate slip-up and Herman Cain for his hesitation in answering a question about his support for America's role in Libya, well, who's holding the anointed one accountable for his equally, if not more so, ridiculous missteps? Well, no one. That is until now. And we have compiled the ultimate collection of President Obama's greatest gaffes, and you're not going to see this anywhere else. Take a look.
Iran, Cuba, Venezuela, these countries are tiny compared to the Soviet Union. You send a kid to the emergency room for a treatable illness like asthma, they end up taking up a hospital bed. It costs, you gave them treatment early, and they got some treatment and a breathalyzer or an inhalator. On this Memorial Day, as our nation honors its unbroken line of fallen heroes, and I see many of them in the audience here today. I've now been in 57 states. I don't know what the term is in Austrian, wheeling and dealing. Navy Corpsman Christian Bashar. Corpsman Bashar, Corpsman Bashar. Malia's 13, Sasha's 10.
All right, here with reaction, the author of the #1 New York Times bestseller, Culture of Corruption, syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor, Michelle Malkin is back with us. All right, there is no Austrian language. We don't have 57 states. I don't know what a corpsman is. It's not a breathalyzer, as the president said. Iran is a bigger country, and doesn't the president, isn't he supposed to know the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day? Just, little gaffes.
I loved that blooper reel. It was the mother of all blooper reels, Sean, and I think there's still enough material for a full-length feature documentary of all of these gaffes, and you haven't even started with Joe Biden and his super gaff-tastic commissions over the last several years. And I think what it points to is something that all of us on the right have been frustrated with. It's the immense double standards with which the liberal media treat Republicans versus Democrats and their bloopers. In fact, I tweeted Jeff Zeleny of the New York Times newspaper, the fish wrap of record today, when he linked to a story that they just published on GOP gaffes in the presidential field, and I said, hey, where's that New York Times grand tally of Democrat gaffes from the White House? Crickets are chirping. I haven't heard a word from him. Jeff, I'm at Michelle Malkin on Twitter, so when you have an answer, let me know.
Yeah, it's amazing to me, though, that the media's always have a pass. They didn't ask Obama the tough questions before the election. Look, I declared media dead in 2008. We buried it in 2010. It's done, it's gone, it's finished. And I guess, thank God, we have the internet. We've got bloggers like yourself. We've got Fox News. We've got talk radio. Because without it, there is no objective. All we have is media bias almost everywhere we look, right?
Yeah, it's true. And it's frustrating because every time some GOP flub comes along, it eats up an entire news cycle. You've got all of the mockery that's going to come from the late-night comedy shows. And it goes back decades to George Herbert Walker Bush and the scanner incident, which they abused and exploited and completely misinterpreted to feed this narrative that he was out of touch. And then the same thing with Dan Quayle and Potato. And then, of course, an entire election cycle of beating up on Sarah Palin while Obama and Biden, I call it Biden-Rhea of the mouth. I mean, every time the guy opens his mouth, it's a disaster. And we never got that kind of treatment from the Democrats. But I think the bottom line on some of this, of course, is that, every politician's going to commit these kind of gaffes, and every one of them is going to have brain freezes once in a while. We're all human. It's true. But when it comes to the Obama administration, it's not so much occasional cluelessness that worries me. It's the systemic corruption that the mainstream media is turning its eye to.
And look, between the Fast and Furious, Solyndra, all the green energy scams, the quid pro quo, the cronyism, I mean, I've never seen anything like it. And I think ultimately, within the next year, as people get educated and catch up, I think it's going to have a big impact on the election. All right, I'd be negligent to let you go. We talked about this Occupy Wall Street. It's going to be ratcheted up tomorrow. They're talking about burning down New York City, bombing Macy's. I'll play the shorter clip, and I want to get your response to it.
And they got guns, we got bottles. They got bricks, we got rocks. Let's see what they got.
We got missiles, we got bombs.
I want them to make that decision so they can see. In a few days, you're going to see what a Molotov cocktail can do to Macy's.
They've got missiles, we've got bombs. We're going to burn down New York City. We're going to bomb Macy's. What do you make of this fact, that the president, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Nancy Pelosi said, thank God for these people. With all the anti-Semitism, all the criminal activity that's going on, is this Obamaville all across the country?
Well, it sure is, but it's much larger than Obama, I think. I think these are the heirs, these are the spawn of the worst excesses of the ideological left. And in that list, when you're talking about politicians who've praised and claimed credit, do not forget Elizabeth Warren, now the Senate Democrat candidate there, who pretty much called herself proudly the godmother of this chaos. This is manufactured chaos, manufactured crises. It has been since day one, and we're seeing all of the ugly, wretched, criminal manifestations of it. Brace yourselves for tomorrow. And I think that if this White House remains silent about everything that's going on, you can equate that silence with absolute complicity.
All right, Michelle Malkin, always appreciate you being with us. Thank you.
You bet. Take care.
And coming up.